Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Smoking with the weekly comic book roundup. And as I mentioned in the last video, this is going to be the last roundup for a little while, due to, well, some would say, current events, and the fact that the company that delivers comic books to most comic book shops, as of next week, will not be delivering for the duration of, as I said, current events. Specific current events. Anywho, moving on to this week. We're done the X-Men books. We're moving on to this week's Spider-Man books and miscellaneous Marvel books. Starting off with Scream, Curse of Carnage, number 5. Where we left off, Scream had discovered the mother of Grendel underneath in the bay. And much like Grendel, turns out, yeah, she's a Clintar. An ancient one, no less. And so, she's also a lot stronger than Scream, and so, yeah, So while Scream's trying to escape, or fight back, it kind of varies on what's on the moment, she's kind of getting her ass handed to her. So we begin with a retelling of Beowulf facing Grendel's mother. However, instead of it being the legendary warrior Beowulf, instead it's Thor, well, the Marvel version. And when she was struck down, she landed in the sea, and seemingly, and being, kind of a, symbiote type character, she just kind of, kind of slithered off under the sea, reforming herself. However, now she is, Scream and Andy are separated, and Grendel's mother is actually actively trying to eat or to consume Andy, and actually does a little bit of damage to her. But the symbiote finds Andy, heals her, begins the healing process, and explodes out through the stomach of Grendel's mother. Grendel's mother then wreaks some havoc on New York, with Scream fighting back, and eventually she hangs Grendel from a crane for going on about her business. The NYPD is investigating and are promptly told by the FBI that all symbiote-related matters are Bureau business. Back at the Feast Shelter, Andy Benton has a talk with May Parker. May basically, hey, I saw that how you turned, and I just want, you're welcome here, but you gotta, you're not just it's cool for you to protect the Feast Shelter, but also protect, maybe you should also do what you can to make sure that others, that you don't let loose on them as well. And the issue ends with May giving Andy a hug. While the symbiote and Andy kind of, have been discussing throughout the fact that they are family now. Moving on to Ravencroft, number 3. Where we left off, Prisoner 616 has apparently gotten loose. And, well, this has brought forth some various, varied members of the staff. Moonstone, D-Man, And we learn that Prisoner 616 is none other than Frank Castle. This is being said after the events of Matthew Rosenberg's run on the Punisher solo book, where seemingly the Punisher disappeared went into the wind, but the Avengers turned him over to Fisk, the mayor of New York. Fisk, however, basically says, "Hey, yeah, you let the guard go, or Taskmaster back there is going to put a bullet in you." But D-Man is able to talk Frank down, basically saying, "Hey, look, they want you to give them a reason to shoot you. There's one thing I know about you, it's that you don't want to do, you would never do what the bad guys want you to do." And so, Frank gives up and he's sent to solitary. But, Hobgoblin informs Fisk of a pressing matter. And D-Man and Misty Knight go visit Grizzly in the hospital wing. Grizzly, having been attacked by a bunch of other inmates, turns out he gave as good as he got and laid up all four of the inmates that attacked him. One of them is in a body cast. And someone has just tossed Mr. Hyde a shank. Mr. Hyde, who seems to have a strong desire to fight Manwolf. Elsewhere in Ravencroft, Dr. Ashley Kafka is being going to various tests to prove that yes, she actually is her. Seeing as how a while back she died. All the tests prove that she is who she claims to be, whereas Osborn refuses to accept that this is her. However, Jameson kind of has his fill with Osborn and slams him against the wall and leaves with Dr. Kafka. And walks right into Mr. Hyde's trap. The two of them fight it out. Misty and D-Man show up, and D-Man ends up with the shiv that was tossed into Hyde, stuck in his chest. Meanwhile, Fisk and his heads of staff are searching through the area underneath the hospital, which is where Carnage had his little cult during Absolute Carnage. And so they find the Unwanted, and they begin attacking them using their various abilities and gadgets and whatnot. But it turns out they're not killing the Unwanted. They only think they are, while the Unwanted make their way to the surface. And that is where the issue ends. Moving on to Jessica Jones, Blind Spot, number 6. Yeah, I know, it's the third issue we've done in 2 weeks of Blind Spot, but, hey, I screwed up last month. It happens. Where we left off, Jess had solved the case. And Dia was getting training with Doctor Strange for her powers. Yeah, everything seems to be going all right, you know. So the she begins. It's going to be Saturday, 8:30 a.m. In the Harlem home of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and their daughter Danielle. The, Luke and Jessica wake up, and well, like I said, it's after 8. Surprisingly, their daughter hasn't come in to bother them, but they hear Danielle talking to someone. And so Jessica grabs a baseball bat and rushes out, only to discover She-Hulk with the birthday girl, feeding her cupcakes for breakfast. Then the nanny shows up. They start getting all the party decorations ready, and Thor arrives with a gift and some balloons. And they try to talk him into helping out with setting up, getting the party set up. First, we setting up the speakers, and hey, you know what? Instead, go grab the cake. Or they're after Thor leaves, Luke and Jessica are attacked by Loan Shark. Not Loan shark, like, you know, somebody who you don't want to borrow money from, but rather lone as in solo. Lone wolf, lone shark. The cages wail on for a bit, talking about how his name makes no sense, and then they realize that the fight suddenly ends when Lone Shark realizes, are you guys setting this place up for a birthday party for your kid? Like, well, yeah, actually. They're like, oh God, my bad. I'll leave. I was waiting till I didn't want your kid to be in the crossfire, so you know. But Jess is a little off about the fact that the decorations Luke picked out are all purple. Because for those who may not be aware, Jessica Jones has quite the disturbing history with the villain known as Purple Man. So color purple is not exactly her favorite color, you know what I'm saying? Thor shows up with the cake while the two of them, after Luke and Danny talk, or Luke and, not Danny, but Luke and Jessica talk, and he swipes a corner piece of the cake. And they're getting the party, they've replaced all the purple decorations, and then when Danny and the nanny show up, little Danielle Cage is purple. And that's where the issue ends. Moving on to Star number 3. Where we left off, Star reporter Ripley Ryan, formerly investigative reporter Ripley Ryan, had broken out of the raft as she now has the Reality Stone. And is kind of wreaking a wee bit of havoc. She's already run into Loki, and now the Scarlet Witch is trying to help her. However, unbeknownst to her, but unbeknownst to us, the readers, and those talking about the book, it's not just heroes looking at. It's not just heroes and more gray characters looking for her, but also the Black Order. So the issue begins at Alias Investigations, and Scarlet Witch tries to kind of sort of analyze Star, kind of, saying, hey, when we were in that cave, what did you see? And she, what she saw was kind of a, and she didn't know what it was, a villain, a devil, a god, her as a living nightmare, the real her future. However, an old friend of Star's shows up, Captain Marvel. However, Star is able to escape before Captain Marvel lays her out again. At Ripley's apartment, she has some issue. She has some adverse effects from. She experiences some adverse effects from running into Captain Marvel. Collapses on the. And then has a remembers the events of the first few issues of the Captain Marvel series, where she was on Roosevelt Island, which had been moved to another dimension. And her opinions on Captain Marvel and how much she dislikes her. She wakes up, though, and promptly blows up her apartment building, capturing the attention of members of the Black Order who are keeping an eye out for the stone. Namely, in this case, Black Swan and Black Dwarf. The compulsion that Star placed on Jessica Jones is removed, so she's no longer eagerly trying to find out who it is that's hunting her, but, still. Black Swan has some thoughts about everything. Namely that she's tired of being a slave to the Infinity Stones or those who wield them. So she goes and, fights Ripley, who basically uses the reality stone to give herself various powers. Invincibility, immortality, more strength than Black Swan, costume, and of course laser eyes. Turns out the Black Swan has a device that she wants to leave with Star. And she uses the stone to now understand Swedish. However, and right after Black Swan leaves, having realized that there were others on her trail, Captain Marvel shows up. Looks like we're about to get Captain Marvel vs. Star technically I guess round 2. And that's where the issue ends. Moving on to Punisher Soviet, number 6. Where we left off, the Punisher, as well as former Russian soldier Valery Stepanovich, were going after Russian crime boss Konstantin Pronchenko. They had been going after him separately, but, their paths crossed, and so they joined forces. Stepanovich's reason for going after Pronchenko is purely personal. Pronchenko basically sold out the paratrooper unit that Stepanovich was a part of to the Mujahideen. which led to the other members of Stepanovich's unit being murdered in various disturbing ways. However, in the assault on Stepanovich, or on Pronchenko's forces, Stepanovich was killed. And the Punisher has taken Pronchenko's sons captive, wrapped up Stepanovich, and he's now telling them to dig Stepanovich a grave. When one of them refuses, well, Punisher puts a bullet through him. The other two dig out a grave, and eventually, when they put him in and it gets refilled, and Frank has the two survivors kneel at the foot of the grave, and he then shoots them in the head and walks away. He's got a meeting to crash between Pronchenko and a senator. Makes it there, and tosses. Oh God, I always forget it. Pronchenko rolled duct tape, tells him to tape the senator to a chair, and then skin him. And Pronchenko does so. He's informed the FBI he's anonymously informed the FBI what's happened, and yeah, he went to the loony bin. The day he was sentenced, Frank goes into a bar, has a shot of vodka in honor of Stepanovich, and leaves. And that is where the issue ends. In fact, that's where the series ends. Though there's a promise of there being more Max Punisher coming from writer Garth Ennis. So, okay. And that's all for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long, rock hard, and y'all be safe.